name is Verónica Baños, and I've been a professor for 27 years now, and I have 2 PhDs in business administration and the other one in international businesses.
My name is Gonzalo. I'm 25 years old. I was born in Mexico City. I studied architecture at Guadalajara. I finished my degree this semester.
My name is Alondra Sanchez. I'm 20 years old. I'm currently studying a bachelor degree in business administration in Tecnológico de Monterrey, Campus Guadalajara.
Paternalism or paternalismo is something that happens nowadays in many companies and also in many places. So paternalism comes from padre, the father, who is going to protect somebody else's. So sometimes it's really annoying, the phenomenon, because it doesn't have to be something a relative, it doesn't have to be father to son, but is a usual, a common phenomena that you can find in family businesses, since you're hiring your own son and you're going to protect this son of any other dangers around the company.
I understand it as a man taking all the decisions of a company or a country. In Mexico, it's really common to use it as head of state. So people see the president sometimes as their father.
It's a protectionist attitude. The word itself refers to a father that wants to take care of someone and decide for that person.
You can see it in both ways, or 3 ways actually. You can see it in the families, when there's always like a man making all the important decisions from a family, in the government, and you can also see it in the companies, where sometimes the employees look at the boss as their father or as a father figure. That means the boss is sometimes responsible for their health and their welfare.
Talking about political perspective, this is not so good, because in this case the government adopts the role of a father and decides for the citizens, because it believes that they are not capable of making their own decisions and choices. Mexico has been victim of paternalism because of its rulers and also because of other circles of power.
Sometimes you do not let the people to learn from their mistakes because you are protecting them. So paternalism is not that, it's a common practice in many companies, but nowadays the law is changing. Not the law itself, like lawyers or the constitution, but the law inside of the companies. Now we are more aware of this generation, millennials, they are more aware of this. So paternalism is now more public.
I used to have a small car workshop where we changed oil, especially maintenance for cars. And somehow it's complicated because the people that are working for you are expecting you to solve their problems, not only those related to work, but those related to their family or to their personal problems. So it's complicated because they expect you to lend money to them, or they expect you to help them when they have these problems.
I think that internationals, when they come here, they notice this phenomenon about paternalism, because it's something that is still going here in Mexico especially. But I think that after some time they can get used to it, or they can adapt to this type of work here in Mexico and how things go, because it's something that it's almost in every organization, institution, university.
When the Spanish conquered this nation, the king started giving all the Spanish settlers like group of indigenous people, so they were going to be responsible of these people. This thing was called encomiendas. And I think this phenomena is like the precedent of paternalismo, because somehow the boss was responsible for the people working for him.
Here in Mexico, we have another phenomena called machismo.
Machismo.
So, in that way, the most of the time, we have in the highest position, even though even CEOs or CFOs or whatever, they hire men instead of women. So, and also we have in academic institutions a lot of people that are men instead of women, and they're not including women. So it's so recent, the way the way women, they are just having positions, but it's really recent. I think it's part of this generation, this millennial generation, because in my time, my generation, we didn't have that opportunity.
Women have been recently taking important positions in companies and organizations. But I think that in order to have a 50-50%, like 50% men working in a company or being in important positions and 50% women, it has to take some time. Men has the power over anyone, like over women or over other men. Like men are the power always. And that's how it always had been in Mexico, and it's a tradition now, machismo, but it's trying to be excluded or deleted from all the organizations and including the government. But I think it needs time in order to Mexico to progress and self-develop as citizens and employees and persons.
I think it has good consequences. I don't think it's bad at all. I think it's sometimes the business owner or the boss is taking the responsibilities that the state has in other countries. This lack of public health and care is usually taken by the boss. So somehow it's helping the people to have a better life because the government is not like putting action into these issues.
You see, here in Mexico we have a saying, there's always the power behind the throne, it's a woman. So, and the power behind a family business is the mother. So when I have a consultancy period process with a family business, I usually tell the man, I want to talk to your wife.
Oh, really?
No. My wife is not part of the business. I want to talk to your wife. And I start talking with both of them.
And when I had a director, a man director, it was more soft with us women. And when I had a woman director, it was more hard. But I think that at the same time, it helped us to be more self-developed and to grow as a person, as an individual. Like there's a change in this phenomenon. They are trying to make a balance, but still it's there. And the citizens cannot self-develop and express themselves because the government doesn't let them. So that I think that's a problem, and that's why Mexico is not progressing and growing.
The companies nowadays are changing their ways to approach this kind of problems inside of these companies. So I think they have to include something really specific related to paternalism.
I'm completely sure that European models and American models don't work here because we're not a developed country. Paternalismo somehow is this, so I hope it doesn't end. Maybe it will change or it will transform itself, but I like that Mexican companies take care of their people, and I think that should continue always.